The Angels and the Yankees have basically given Major League Baseball a second trade deadline. I'm not joking. So many guys were released or put on waivers. We basically have another trade deadline. Mookie Betts, he hit another home run, setting a new career high. Is he the MVP in the NL? We'll talk about that later on. The battle for the AL West is shaping up to be an all-time division race, and the Padres, they are having some karma thrown directly into their face. Yeah, we got to talk about that as well. All of that in today's MLB Recap. We do this every single day, and just a reminder, use code Fuzzy on SeatGeek to save 20 bucks off baseball game tickets or concert tickets. Now, we do have some devastating injury updates. Felix Bautista, he's probably going to be missing quite some time, if not the rest of 2023, with a slight injury to a UCL. They don't know if it's a severe injury, but it's definitely some form of a UCL injury. He had a 1.48 ERA, 33 saves, and an insane 110 strikeouts in 61 innings. I'm hoping that the Orioles can replace him with someone like Ronaldo Lopez, who just got released by the Angels. We'll talk about that in a second, but real quick, another injury update. Jarren Duran, he's going to be missing the rest of 2023 with a toe injury. He's hitting .295 with 34 doubles, 24 stolen bases, and a 120 OPS plus. Maybe they go get Harrison Bader, because Harrison Bader was just released as well. Actually, Harrison Bader wasn't released. He was put on waivers. We'll talk about the difference in a moment. Now, some other players that were actually released. Jurickson Profar, he has a negative 1.7 WAR, a 76 OPS plus, and a negative 12 outs above average in the outfield. He has been one of, if not the worst player in all of baseball, but he has been released by the Rockies. Anyone can claim him right now. The Yankees, they released Josh Donaldson. He hit .207 with 25 home runs and 165 games as a Yankee. So he's got pop, he's got really good defense, but he has almost no contact, and he's 37 years old. But Jurickson Profar and Josh Donaldson, they were released, whereas these other guys, they were put on waivers. The Angels put Lucas Giolito on waivers. He has a 4.7 ERA since 2022, but a very high ceiling. Matt Moore, another member of the Angels, he was put on waivers as well. He has a 2.1 ERA and a 10 strikeouts per 9 over his last 117 innings pitched. He has been excelling as a relief pitcher. Ronaldo Lopez, who was acquired in that Lucas Giolito trade, he has a 3.2 ERA since last year with 134 strikeouts and 119 innings, but he walks a ton. Randall Grichuk, another Angel that was waived. He was awful for them up until yesterday. The day that he was put on waivers, he had 2 doubles and a home run in a single game. Just go figure. Hunter Renfroe, he has 48 extra base hits. He has 25 home runs 5 times in his career. He has a cannon for an arm. And one more Angel that got put on waivers, Dominic Leone, who was also traded for at the deadline. He had a 4 ERA with the Mets, a 5 ERA with the Angels. They gave up Jeremiah Jackson just to waive Dominic Leone a few moments later. So let's talk about what waiving means. When a team puts a player on waivers, they are allowing another team to grab him and actually pay the rest of his salary for the remainder of the season. But the way that a waiver works, it's based off of team record. So a team like the Rockies, if they want to Hunter Renfroe, they could put in a claim before a team like the Yankees. So a lot of people are speculating that Hunter Renfroe, he might go to the Guardians, because the Guardians, they have a pretty bad record, but maybe they claim him. Harrison Bader also was put on waivers after a monster postseason. He has a .275 on base percentage and a 74 OPS plus in 83 games. He has solid defense. He's pretty good on the bases, but yeah, I could not believe that he was put on waivers. Same with Mike Clevinger. His velocity is way up the last month. He just came off a 10 strikeout, 1-hit performance. I think that the Orioles would be a perfect fit for Mike Clevinger. It's wild that he's even available. Carlos Carrasco, he was also put on waivers. He's 36 years old with a near 7 ERA. Maybe he goes back to Cleveland to eat some innings or be a guy out the bullpen. I have no idea. And Jose Cisnero, he has a 2.9 ERA from 2020 to 2022. He's striking out more guys than ever, but also allowing way more hits. He has a 5.4 ERA in 2023. So those were all of the players put on waivers, and they can be claimed by anyone based off team record. The worse the team is, the higher the chance they have of claiming someone. So of all of the guys that we just heard about, whether it's Matt Moore, Lucas Giolito, Hunter Renfroe, Jurickson Profar, Josh Donaldson, who do you think is the most valuable to a playoff contending team? I think it could be Mike Clevinger, honestly. All right, let's go ahead and get into the games from yesterday, shall we? Luis Rengifo had a big day at the dish. That's his first of 2 home runs. He and Bryce Harper have been cheat codes for going on a month plus. Bryce Harper is just 1 home run away from 300 for his career. He is fulfilling the prophecy as being the chosen one. Schwarber, he sent out his 37th home run, and Rengifo, he ripped another. Since July 1st, Luis Rengifo is hitting .325 with 10 home runs and 54 hits in 44 starts. The Angels then thought it would be a good idea to walk Bryce Harper to get to Alec Bohm, and Bohm took that personally. That's a 3-run tank job for the lead. Bohm has 15 home runs and 82 RBIs. Trey Turner, he legged out a 2-run triple to left field. That's how fast Trey is. You rarely see triples pulled from right-handed hitters. There's one. Bryson Stott, my friend. He launched a 2-run home run. He's hitting 297 with 14 home runs, 25 stolen bases, and elite defense at second base. The Phillies, they went 12-7, but I do want to show the 7th run courtesy of Ohtani. He doubled in an RBI. He's hitting 350 with 5 extra base hits in the 6 games since tearing his UCL, but the Phillies, they won 5 in a row. So we've talked about the Angels dropping a bunch of players. The other team, the Yankees, what did they do yesterday? They were in Detroit taking on the Tigers, and for the first time in a month, the Yankees, they won back-to-back games. Glaber, he hit one very, very far, 455 feet. New York is slowly turning Michael King into a starting pitcher. He threw 4 shutout with 5 strikeouts. He's got the stuff to be a Seth Lugo type of guy, someone who started off as a relief pitcher, but he can get up to 5 or 6 innings as a starter. Higashioka, he has 10 home runs, and look at Volpe. He went 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts in the previous at-bats. Then he goes yard. He's 1 home run away from joining very elite company as rookies to be in the 20 home run, 20 stolen base club. Clay Holmes, he was bad again. That's a 2-run single to rookie Parker Meadows, who I really think looks great, by the way. Clay, he eventually ended it, and yes, the Yankees, they've won 2 games in a row for the first time in a month. All right, before we talk about the madness that is the AL West, we got to show this near no-hitter. Yes, there was an almost no-hitter in this game. I don't know if Alex Cobb woke up feeling dangerous, but man, he was locked in yesterday. This is a big-time series. Both the Giants and the Reds are fighting for a wild card spot. Luis Matos, he doubled in JD Davis. Rookie Patrick Bailey, he's special. He's a defensive wizard, so that comes first, but any offense is huge. Again, he's a rookie, switch-hitting defensive wizard catcher who rakes. From there, Alex Cobb and his defense had it covered. Cobb, he got through 7 no-hit frames. He ended up getting through 8 no-hit innings after Austin Slater saved the game in center field. That reminded me of Gregor Blanco saving Matt Cain in his perfect game almost a decade ago, or maybe a decade ago. Unfortunately, Cobb, he lost the no-hitter and shutout on 1 swing with 2 outs in the 9th inning. He was 1 out away. Matos, he couldn't get there. A walk to Senzel bit him, but he was still insane. 9 innings, 1 hit. He struck out 8. You got to tip your cap, but it just really hurts because it was with 2 outs, but the Giants, they've won 3 games in a row. So remember how I said Cincinnati and San Francisco are both going for a wild card spot? So are the Diamondbacks, but they're just a half game ahead of the Giants, so they have to win this game, and that will not be happening. Huge doubles from Peralta and Jason Hayward. Jason Hayward has 17 doubles, 12 home runs, and a 120 OPS plus. He has all but found the fountain of youth. We see you, Jason. LA, they scored a bunch more when Corbin Carroll, he popped off for a solo home run. He's got 23 home runs, 40 stolen bases, and a 140 OPS plus as a rookie. He's going to win an MVP one day. Speaking of MVPs, not only has Mookie already done that, but he might win another in 2023 if Ronald doesn't start launching home runs left and right. Mookie has a career-high 36 home runs. He's leading the NL in WRC plus and FWAR. Those are 2 very important stats in the MVP conversation. So who's going to win? Freddie Freeman, Mookie Betts, or Ronald? Let me know in the comments. Will Smith, this guy is so rated. He's a primary catcher who's averaging 31 home runs and a 128 OPS plus over a 162 game pace. Arizona, they've lost 2 in a row. They're a half game back of the Giants. And by the way, I didn't even mention that Kershaw, he struck out 5 over 5 innings, his 12th win of the season. He has a 1.4 ERA over his last 9 starts. Is he the GOAT starting pitcher? Let me know as well. The Marlins are also within reach of that final NL wildcard spot, so the losses from the Reds and the Diamondbacks are going to be massive. They need to capitalize, but even though Jazz socked his 13th home run, he has 27 home runs and 29 stolen bases over his last 129 games, by the way. Tampa Bay, they're going to take game 1 of this battle of the fish tank. Get it? Because it's the Rays and the Marlins, I'm sorry. Isaac Paredes, he tied it on a double, and Jose Siri, he ripped the lead right back from Miami on a ringing 2-run double. More RBI extra base hits. That's a 2-run blast for Randy. He's only 2 stolen bases away from back-to-back 2020 seasons. Josh Lowe, he could very much put up those stats over the next few seasons. He's still just 25 years old. He's hitting 285 with 18 home runs, 25 stolen bases, and a 130 OPS plus. Isaac, he made it a 4 RBI night on his 27th home run. Tampa Bay, they're top 5 in home runs, stolen bases, and they're top 5 in ERA as a pitching staff. They've won 3 in a row. The Rays are absolutely legit, even without all of their elite starting pitchers. They're all on the shelf. Okay, enough of the NL wildcard madness. We have to dive straight into the other madness that is the AL West. Houston and Texas, they're 1 game back of the Mariners, so both clubs are hoping that the A's can clutch up versus the Mariners. We'll show that game in just a second. Bregman and Alvarez, they know that these games are vital. They both went yard in the first inning. Bregman, he singled in another in the 5th, right before Mauricio Dubon laced a 2-run double. He's got 32 extra base hits and has played pretty much every single position this year, minus catcher. Now, I do want to show Adam Duvall, because that's 4 games in a row now with the home run. He's got 21 doubles, 18 home runs, and a 145 OPS plus in 70 MLB games. Houston takes the first 2 games of the series. They've won 4 in a row, and the Boston Red Sox, they lost Jarren Duran. They lose this game. They're now almost 7 games back of a wild card spot. Texas really has to keep up with the Houston Astros, and they're taking on Jose Quintana and the Mets in New York. Absolutely nothing happened through the first 6 innings of this contest. Andrew Heaney, he was nasty. He had 7 punch-outs over 5 1/3 shutout frames, and Jose Quintana, he held the Rangers scoreless through 6. Shout out to Jose Quintana, by the way. He was basically batting practice from 2019 to 2021, but now he has a 3 ERA and a 3 FIP over his last 2 seasons. There's Mitch Garver again. Mitch Garver has a home run in 3 of his last 4 games, and he has a 131 OPS plus since 2019, so he can match with the best of them. Ezekiel Duran drove in a huge insurance run because, Chapman, he was back in there in the closing role. He's just not very good as a closing pitcher anymore. He allowed a home run to Mark Vientos, so again, good thing Duran made it a 2 spot because Chapman, he eventually closed it out. He has 4 saves on the season now. They barely beat the Mets 2-1. All right, here we go. If the A's can win this game over the Mariners, we will have a 3-way tie for first place in the AL West. Seth Brown and Shea Langoliers, they're basically acting as double agents for the Astros and the Rangers. Seth Brown, he has 12 home runs, and Shea, he has been cooking with fire lately. 5 home runs and 8 RBIs over his last 8 games. He's raised his OPS by 30 points over that stretch. 6 different A's pitchers, they were able to bottle up the Mariners all afternoon. They held them to 1 run all game. Trevor May did allow a few base hits in the 9th inning, but he dialed it up. He got all 3 outs via the strikeout, and just like that, ladies and gentlemen, we have a 3-way tie for first place in the AL West. Another division that could end up coming down to the wire if Milwaukee isn't safe, the NL Central. That one measly little RBI ground out from Cody Bellinger in the 1st inning was all this game had to offer. Justin Steele and Corbin Burnes, they were matching each other pitch for pitch. Actually, an incredible duel if you ask me. It kind of felt like I was watching Obi-Wan versus Anakin on the Mustafa system. I'm sorry. Justin Steele, he went 6 shutout with 8 strikeouts. He's closing in on that ERA title. He has a 2.69 ERA, just a little bit higher than Blake Snell's 2.6, but I still think that it's Blake's to lose. Corbin Burnes, he was amazing. He had that 1st inning run. That was it. He had 7 strikeouts over 7 innings, but Adbert Alzolay, he has been locking down save after save. His 22nd save gets the Cubs back to 4 games of first place. The division races, the wild card races, the MVP races, attendance is up. We have game time down. Everything is going right for baseball this year, not gonna lie, aside from the UCL injuries. Now, I'm not saying Cleveland is still in it, but they have a puncher's chance if they stop playing Miles Straw and never, ever start anyone but Bo Naylor at catcher. Bo is the youngest Cleveland player since Manny Ramirez to have a home run in 3 consecutive games. He has 14 extra base hits, 17 RBIs, and an 850 OPS since July 6th. After Minnesota played some bad defense and allowed the Guardians to score a few more, Royce Lewis, he got one back. Royce also has a home run in 3 consecutive games. He has 9 RBIs over those 3 games because he had 2 grand slams and then that solo home run. Will Brennan got that run right back, only to have Michael A. Taylor steal that run back on his 20th of the season. Just too little, too late. Andres Jimenez, this guy has been making web gem after web gem. That sick play to his left, Emmanuel Clase, he has 35 saves now. He has 102 saves at 25 years old. Minnesota, they still have a commanding lead, but Cleveland, they gain a tiny bit of confidence. We're going to fast forward all the way to the 6th inning of this Padres and Cardinals game where we saw some home runs get hit. Luis Campsuano, I keep botching his last name, I'm sorry, but he's been very impressive. He's hitting 280 with 5 home runs in 30 games. Wilson Contreras said, hey, not so fast, kid. I'm the best catcher in the series. He ripped one, and then he ripped another, a mammoth, prodigious home run. He had a 2-run home run to tie it at 5-5. Since May 7th, Wilson is hitting 281 with 25 doubles, 13 home runs, and an almost 840 OPS. So extras we go. Tommy Edman, he all but ended the Padres season. That walk-off since the Padres to 7.5 games back in the wild card. And the worst part is the Nationals, they could again get even with the Padres in terms of record at 62 and 67 if they beat the Blue Jays. And I bring this up because months ago, Xander, he basically mocked the Nationals. He said, we're playing the Nationals, inferring that the Nationals are pipsqueaks and should be easy pickings. The fact that they were losing against Washington was embarrassing. The Nationals took offense to that. Carter Kieboom, please keep this up. 410 feet, a 2-run home run. He has 3 home runs in his first 6 games since being recalled. Davis Schneider, I got to give him a shout out. He has a home run in 4 of his last 5, 9 extra base hits, and 13 RBIs in his first 13 games. He's still hitting 420. Keibert Ruiz, he got that run back and more on a clutch 3-run home run. He's hitting 285 with 12 home runs over his last 63 starts. As a switch-hitting young catcher, you can't find that pretty much anywhere. Mackenzie Gore, he held the Blue Jays to 1 run over 5, even though he allowed 6 base hits and only struck out 2. Make it 10 extra base hits and 14 RBIs over his last 13 games for Davis Schneider. And Toronto is trying to make it a 1-run game, but wow, look at that host piece from Jacob Young in in center field. He nails Alejandro Kirk to end the 8th inning. A shaky ninth happened for Kyle Finnegan, but he nailed down his 25th save. So yeah, Washington and the Padres, they have the exact same record, while Xander Bogaerts is having his worst season in years. We're going to skip to the 8th inning in this next one because Ke'Bryan Hayes is finally breaking out like we all hoped. He had 5 home runs in his first 24 games back as a rookie in 2020. He just has not been able to replicate that until now. On top of having 19 DRS over his last 19 starts, he's hitting .370 with 6 home runs and 19 RBIs. Rookie Liover Peguero, he had some fun as well. He belted a long 3-run home run. The Pirates, they've won 2 in a row and they've been looking pretty good lately. A super easy game to recap. Marcell Ozuna is the 3rd Brave to 30 home runs. Ronald, he's 1 away from 30. Ozzy is 2 away. They could have multiple guys in the 30 home run club. Murphy and Ozuna, they gave Charlie Morton more run support on some RBI singles, and Morton, he carved it again. My God, Uncle Charlie, he went 6 innings with 8 strikeouts. Over his last 4 starts, he's allowed 1 earned run total over 24 innings. He has 33 strikeouts over that stretch. Raisel Iglesias, he has been as steady as ever. He has 15 saves and a 0.82 ERA since June 25th. He's been nearly unhittable. Both starting pitches in this one ended up being fairly stingy. Chicago starter Jesse Schultens, he held the Orioles to 1 run over 5 1/3, and Dean Kremer, he tossed another beauty. That's back-to-back shutouts for Dean Kremer. So the game previously, 6 shutout, this one 6 shutout. Perfect timing to get hot. Speaking of getting hot at the right time, Anthony Santander, he has been an RBI maniac lately. But before we show that, check out this sick play from Austin Hayes. That was flawless technique from an outfielder. He turned his head the perfect way. Just a beautiful catch. But yeah, Santander, his 3-run double sparked a huge rally for the Orioles. Ryan McKenna, he drove in 2 on a double. And there's 2 more on RBI singles from Ali Rutschman and Anthony Santander. That's a 4 RBI night for Anthony Santander. He has 19 RBIs in the month of August. The Orioles, they've won 2 in a row. So like I mentioned in today's video, the Rangers, the Mariners, and the Astros are all tied for 1st place in the AL West. But whoever comes in 2nd place is probably still going to make the playoffs via the wild card. But before we show the wild card, the Cubs are back to 4 games of 1st place of the Brewers. That's kind of it for the division standings. In the wild card, though, we have the Marlins at 3 games back, the Cubs at 2 games back because they're 4-6 over their last 10. They've been scuffling. Because the Diamondbacks lost and the Giants won, the Giants are back in that final wild card spot with the Cubs and the Phillies just ahead. In the AL, the Blue Jays and the Red Sox have been not very good lately. So the Astros, the Mariners, and the Rangers, they're all vying for not only the AL West, but that final wild card spot. That does it for today's recap. Thank you all so much for watching and supporting the channel. I really appreciate it. Have a great day, and I'll catch you in the next one.